Welcome to session 14. As last time we talked about the law, now we want to move into the prophets, which is a big section of the Old Testament that we need to grapple with and understand. When we talk about the prophets, we talk about prophecy. So let's talk about the nature of prophecy. You know, to be honest, the prophets are some of the most difficult books in the Old Testament to really grapple with and understand. There's lots of different reasons why. One of them is just the meaning. The function and the form of how they write is just kind of confusing. Again, we are so distant from them in time and culture, and so it's really difficult to understand about really what do they mean here. We have to understand, too, that the prophets are a spokesperson on behalf of God speaking in to a certain situation. So it's the meaning, but it's also the person themselves. Who is this person, and what are they trying to say? And then also the problem of history. As they talk into this certain moment, we have to understand the time and space of Israel and what's going on. Is he talking to the northern tribes, or is he talking to Judah in the south? And these are the things that make it difficult. But the function of prophecy is that they were covenant enforcement mediators. What does that mean? Simply this. The prophets were spokespeople on behalf of God to come and remind Israel of the covenants that they had agreed to. God was going to do this, and they were going to do that. And the prophets were just saying, you're not doing it, and this now is what's going to happen. The prophets, as we think of the function of prophecy, that the prophets' message was not their own, but God's. They were appointed. A lot of the prophets have the story of their call included in their book of, here's the appointment that God has given me. So these people are talking on behalf of God to the people of God. And the prophet's message was not unoriginal, meaning that it had its purpose and its form in redemptive history. It's not original to themselves. It was on behalf of God. So now let's talk about the exegetical task as we come to a prophet like a minor prophet like Haggai or a major prophet like Jeremiah. What do we do? Let me give you a few pointers. Firstly is the need for outside help. We need to be humble and acknowledge that sometimes it is difficult. So get a good commentary to help you. We have to do the work of historical context. Secondly, we have to understand who is Jeremiah? Why is he speaking in this time? What's going on in Israel's history? You have to do that historical work, which leads us, thirdly, to the isolation of individual oracles. So we actually have to zoom in on these 8 verses or this passage to really grapple as we understand the history. What is the image that the prophet is playing with, drawing upon? What does that mean? We actually have to understand the form of prophetic utterance, meaning what is he actually trying to say in this prophecy? And understanding that prophets sometimes spoke poetically. So to understand the genre of the prophecy that you are reading. Some prophecy is easy to understand. Others is not. And we have to understand maybe what's the genre of the prophets and maybe it's poetry or something else. So some hermeneutical suggestions for you. Suggestions is a caution that the prophet as a foreteller of the future. Sometimes prophecy is not like, thus saith the Lord, here's what's going to happen. Sometimes it's calling them backward to remind them of something that they have agreed to or that they were supposed to do. So it's not always future foretelling. A concern of prophecy and second meanings. Sometimes what we want to do is we want to get into this prophecy and not do the work that it demands and then go straight now to our own context and say, now this is what this means. Kind of dangerous sometimes. And so a hermeneutical suggestion is in a concern. Please don't be the person that goes straight to a Jeremiah or Isaiah text and then goes straight to today without doing some good work. Now, here's the good thing about prophets and prophecy as we look at it in the Old Testament, is that there's a dual emphasis in the prophets on orthodoxy. Here's what God has said, and orthopraxy. Here's how you are to live. And that's really beneficial as we think about the prophets, that they're telling us, here's the reminder theologically of who God is, what he has done, and here's now how you should live, how you should correct your behavior, your thoughts, your love, and direct it towards God. So now, choose one of the prophets, a minor one. Maybe start with Malachi or Hosea, and start to do this worthwhile work.